Welcome to Read Along with me. Today's story is Marvin and the Giant Bubble by Karin McCay, illustrated by Vova Kurichenko. Marvin knew there was magic in her because whatever was terrible didn't seem so awful anymore when Mommy winked. Whatever hurt didn't seem so painful anymore when Mommy kissed it. And whatever trouble Marvin and Melissa Ann got into, even if they were in another room or outside, Mommy seemed to hear, see, and know everything. That was magic. Marvin and Melissa Ann were about to go outside and play when Mommy said, "Here's a graham cracker for each of you. You can eat it or feed it to a bird." They were barely out the door when Melissa Ann popped her graham cracker into her mouth. "Yum," she said as she gulped it down. Then she said, "Marvin, can I have yours?" Melissa Ann could eat a whole box of graham crackers and still be hungry for more. "No," said Marvin. "I'm saving mine up here in my shirt pocket so it won't get broken." Marvin and Melissa Ann had a wonderful treehouse in the yard, with a swing and a sandbox and a big slide. As always, Marvin climbed the tree and Melissa Ann ran to the slide. For a long time, they played together separately. Marvin pretended to be a superhero with a view of the world from the top of the treehouse. Melissa Ann just wanted to climb to the top of the slide and watch how fast she could reach the ground again. Over and over again. Then Marvin noticed something leaning on the bottom of the tree. He hurried down and saw that it was a giant bubble blower. He knew right away to dip the long skinny wand into the tube and then wave it in the air to make bubbles. The first time Marvin waved the wand, he made giant bubbles. The second time, he made really giant bubbles. Then Marvin walked over to the slide as his sister was climbing the ladder again. "Look, Melissa Ann, I'm a super bubble blower," he said proudly. She yelled down from the top of the slide, "Wait for me. Want to make a bubble too?" But Marvin didn't wait. He waved the wand and the most giant bubble of all came out at the bottom of the slide, just as Melissa Ann came sliding down. And glub glub glub. That was the noise they heard when Melissa Ann flew down the slide and slipped into the giant bubble. And just like giant bubbles do, it started floating up, with Melissa and inside the bubble. She floated up over the swing set, up over the treehouse. Marvin was so proud of his giant bubble, he just stared in amazement as she began floating away from the treehouse. That's when he heard his mom say, "Kids, time for dinner. Come eat." "Uh-oh, trouble. How do you tell your mom?" "The good news is, I made the biggest bubble ever. The bad news is, my sister is floating away inside it." Marvin tried to sound cheerful as he yelled to his mom, "Just a minute. We need to clean up our toys in the sandbox." That was true, but those toys had been there a long time. Marvin needed time to think. Then Marvin noticed a bird flying near Melissa Ann. And he remembered the graham cracker in his pocket. That's it. He took the graham cracker and with one smooth move, he threw that cracker as hard as he could and it landed exactly where he wanted it to land. On top of the giant bubble. Melissa Ann looked at the cracker on top of the bubble and yelled to Marvin, "Thank you, Marvin, but I can't eat it, 'cause it's on the bubble and I'm in the bubble." Just as Marvin yelled back, "It's not for you," the bird flew over to the bubble and snatched it with his beak, bursting the bubble. So Melissa Ann was free, but falling. It was lucky that Marvin had on his fast shoes because he ran and ran and ran to where the bubble had floated. And then he held up his arms. Melissa Ann fell right into Marvin's arms. Marvin was so happy. Melissa Ann was so mad that bird took my graham cracker. She said, "Mommy yelled, 'Kids, time for dinner, now.'" Marvin and Melissa Ann quickly cleaned up their toys in the sandbox and ran inside. They didn't say a word about their adventure. But when they sat down for dinner, Mommy said this prayer: "Thank you, God, for giant bubbles, for birds and sisters too. And for Marvin, who saved his cracker and knew just what to do." Thanks for reading along with me, awesome readers. Hope you enjoyed the journey through this story. If you had fun and want to join more adventures, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, keep reading and stay curious. Bye for now.